Well, good morning. We don't have a lot going on here in the continental U.S., at least right now. Uh, some wind and red flag warnings and heat-related advisories down here in Arizona, Nevada, and California, and red flag warnings up here in parts of Wyoming and South Dakota, and some flooding going on in the west coast here with some onshore flow continuing, right? And maybe some special weather statements for some fog up here in the northeast. But other than that, not a lot going on. Maybe a little bit of snow, freezing rain, frozen freeze up here in the northern part of the country as well. So in the first part of today's forecast, we're going to talk about the record heat that's continuing out west. We'll focus on that briefly and go over the extended forecast, um, whether or not we're going to have a pattern change in the future here, and we'll review some of the model guidance regarding that. And I have a separate segment that I'll have a link at the end of this video for the severe weather threat as well over the weekend into Monday. So if you want to stick around for that, I appreciate it, and let's get started here. So I know I sound like a broken record with this, but this is a high impact event here with these record highs. You can see here, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. You can see where the record highs are going to be set or predicted to be set through next week, right? Record low minimums as well, all through next week, but no record high lows, maximums here. And the key messages are on the right here for the Western U.S. heat, right? And so only modest relief into next week with the heat advisories here. I'll move this out of the way, put this up here or something. Anyway, heat alerts, peak high temperatures through the weekend approaching 100 degrees here in the desert southwest. Extreme heat warnings, and this was issued yesterday. They'll update it again later today, but you can see what's going on here. And this is likely to moderate some next week, but it won't cool off appreciably enough to get some substantial relief here. And going to the beginning of the month here, this is the 8 to 14-day hazardous temperature outlook. You can see a slight risk of hazardous temperatures persisting the 28th and 29th, and then on the eastern seaboard, here may be some below normal temps, right? And if we look to 6 to 10 and 8 to 14-day temperature outlook, we can see why these temperatures are going to remain warm. To begin the period, some troughiness along the east coast will keep temperatures cooler there, right? With the high pressure firmly in place out west here. Getting a little further out, it's a little less certain, but it looks like the high pressure is going to flex a little bit more to the north and east here. And then the only place to be below normal looks like it'd be up here in northern New England, right? 8 to 14 days, right? As far as precip goes, to start the period, we have drier than normal for a good portion of the nation, right? With the exception of the deep south and maybe the northeast. And maybe the pattern changes here a little bit as we get further on. Maybe some increased precip chances in the central part of the country. And going back to below normal here in the southeast. And a little bit further out, the week 3 to 4 week temperature outlook and precip outlook here. Above normal temperatures are still predicted here for most of the country, with above normal precip chances or equal, pretty much splitting the country from west to east, west coast below normal precip chances here. And if we choose to go a little bit further out, this is our seasonable temperature and precip outlook. Unfortunately for the west, this looks to be a persistent pattern with above normal temperatures out west here, and equal chances just up here in the northeast and the northern tier of the country, with below normal precip chances looking more likely in the northwest and parts of the central U.S., and above normal maybe here in the eastern seaboard into the mid-Atlantic and parts of the Great Lakes. So let's review the two models, the two operational models here, getting tongue-tied, right? And we're going to start this off by looking at the GFS and European operational run, 500 millibar height anomalies. We've been talking about this, the 500 millibar height anomalies out west here are keeping the hot temperatures going here, right? So we're going to move through time with this, move this towards the weekend, move this towards Friday, right? This is Friday night at 11. We move this to Friday night at 11. All right. Well, then go to 11. Let's go to 8. All right. There we go. So at this point, the GFS still has a ridge, a little bit stronger here out west. The Euro is a little flatter, but both have a deep trough here, on the eastern seaboard, which will keep the northeast relatively cool, right? Both have a low pressure offshore here, the part of the Aleutian low. All right, so the ridge is flattening some out west here, but not totally gone just yet. So we move a little bit forward into Sunday, Sunday evening. All right, let's go 8 p.m. or so. All right, so this is where we're at. You see a ridge. We're at Sunday, and we have the GFS on the left. You're on the right. The ridge, it wants to start building a trough out west here. Okay, could signal a pattern change at least. And since there's good agreement in the models here, I would tend to agree. Although the euro is a little bit stronger with the ridging here, to the we get this far out, and then the GFS is not quite as strong. But both agree to some, to a reasonable extent on the troughiness out west here. All right, we're gonna go through. Let's go through to March 30th. All right, at 8 p.m. Both want to keep a ridge to the east and trough to the west. So what will this do? Likely bring severe weather possibilities back to the central U.S. Okay, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but when you have these kind of trough ejections that do this way from southwest to northeast, as both these models do, okay, 8 p.m. There are a little bit different solutions here with a stronger ridge according to the GFS, right? Not quite as strong ridge according to the Euro, but in general they agree on this pattern, okay? So if this happens, then we're going to have a return of maybe some cooler temps for a little while out west here, okay? And this is March 31st, which is 10 days from now. Let's go to April 1st here, 8 p.m. All right. All right. So this is 8 p.m. See, we got April 1st, 8 p.m. between the GFS and Euro. So you see what happens here. Quite a big difference at this range on solutions. Deep trough out west, according to the Euro, GFS ridge building out west. Given the current trends and what's been happening, and currently I would favor the GFS in this regard, but we got plenty of time to look at this. So what does this look like as far as precip at the surface go? Let's take a look at that real quick. This is starting off Wednesday, and not a lot going on. Maybe some unsettled weather in the southeast and some snow up here, maybe the northeast. And to begin this period, so into Sunday, we got that system moving through the northeast, right? Going to GFS, swings out to sea, maybe some severe weather Monday, and we have like a trough left over down here, which can bring just some enhanced rain chances here. Now we go into Thursday, into Friday. Let's go to Friday with both these models. All right, both pretty much agree on this scenario. We have more zonal flow here with a boundary setting up, and there's more snow maybe in the northeast. There's this troughs just through, but we're getting towards the end of the snow sticking around here, at least in the mid-Atlantic, as we get into April, right? So going into towards a little bit further out here, March 27th, 28th. Pretty quiet conditions, at least up till this point, right? Then we maybe get a trough ejection here. This is the Euro April for European model, April 1st. There's a low pressure maybe develop with unsettled weather to the east here. Going April 1st with the GFS. It also has low pressure ejecting here But this is where we get into that different solution I was telling you about. More progressive with this system, where the trough is hanging more to the west here with the European. So either way, I think there's some agreement about a trough building to the west here. But beyond that, how does it evolve, right? Do we keep the trough out west? We have repeated low pressure systems come through and moisture to the north, or do like the GFS and bring this system progress it along the eastern seaboard, kind of like one of our previous systems where we had a general trough and a south and north flow here, and maybe severe weather and a cold front pushing through. Cool front, I would say, not cold. So a lot to be worked out in the long term, but in the short term, we know it's going to be warm and hot out west with a possible pattern change as we get into April. So I'll keep you updated on that, and I'll let you know. And if you want to check out my other video about severe weather for today, that'll be linked at the end of this video here. Hope you have a good day and God bless.